It might just be like, I'll figure it out.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I think we'll have a few more people joining us. I'm happy that you're here for this master class today. We're going to focus on Tchaikovsky and his monumental violin concerto today. It's a special treat that we have with us Dr. Eduard Schmieder, who is the Laura Carnell Distinguished Professor at the Boyer College of Music and Dance, and that's almost as long of a name as we have for us being Temple Music Prep of the Boyer College of Music and Dance at the Center for Performing and Cinematic Arts of Temple University. But we all get our long names, and we all do as much good as we can. Today's performer is Audrey Kim. Audrey is a student of Jay Freivogel. Audrey has been focusing on the Tchaikovsky violin concerto, and so we have her working on that. Do any of our other students here have worked either on the Tchaikovsky violin concerto or the, I shared with some of you cellists the Rococo variations. I think we got a Rococo. Any violin concerti? So Audrey is our sole Tchaikovsky representative here. And she's a wonderful representative. I think we want to give her a warm welcome. Please also join me in welcoming Dr. Eduard Schmieder, and we'll begin the master class with some Tchaikovsky.
I'm looking forward. You're feeling great. Just play. You play two movements, right? Little bit play of the second. And I understand that you already won a competition with the third. I will ask you to play some parts of the third, okay? Please. Thank you, very nice, bro. Could you do a little bit more for me? Thank you very much. Would you be so kind? Thank you. Would you be so kind to play Coda, the last page, if in your edition? If it is the last page, let me see what is your last page. No, you don't need double stops. After double stops. From here I cannot see. From here, put it there. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, before I will start talking about the concerto, I want to tell you that there are many mistakes traveling from one audition to another audition. For example, here in Coda, look, you have to play this. Look, I'll show you slowly. Not this. Okay, could you try slow? After D. Okay. No, you play extra note. You see, you do this. This note doesn't exist. It's a mistake from one addition to another. Okay? You understand, right? And then 4. Okay? Otherwise it's a panic and it's a mistake. Okay. I would like to say a couple of things. We will start with the second movement and then we will go to the third, which are quite few mistakes over there. What was happening? First of all, when we decide to play, to interpret certain piece of music, of course we will look at the time when it was written, to know approximately the style of the country, the style of the epoch, and so forth. Of course, we analyze harmony, we analyze everything what we can analyze, but we also have to look into the personality of the composer. And Tchaikovsky had quite an unusual personality, and a couple of things I will tell you now. Psychology knows basically 4 types of temperament. When I'm talking, you understand what I'm saying? Okay. These 4 types are called sanguinic, choleric, phlegmatic, and melancholic. Sanguinic usually is very balanced person. Choleric is very excited person. Phlegmatic doesn't react much. And melancholic is mostly sad. Of course, there is no such thing that person has only one temperament. It always, a little bit of this, little bit of that, 50-50, 30-70. But Tchaikovsky, actually, part of his temperament was melancholic temperament. And probably you played or you will play the composition which is called Serenade Melancholique, right? Which reflects very much his personality and his feelings. When he composed this second movement, by the way, which is called not canzone but canzonetto, which means the little song, right? His mood is very, very evident. And you have to imagine that he is somewhere in the country house, looking outside, the weather is autumn, it's raining, looks like trees are crying, and he is very, very sad. And I will try a little bit to play for you from the beginning to see what the feelings are and how it will transform and to change. May I ask you, couple, And he goes like that. It is very, very sad. And then he tells himself, I cannot be always sad. I want to be strong. I want to be like everybody. And he plays. He cannot go for a very long time. He goes back. No, I will be strong. So you have to imagine certain picture when you do that. Okay? Now when you will start playing, another thing which I have to tell you immediately, that this concerto, actually when he composed, he dedicated this to Leopold Auer. Leopold Auer was very important professor of violin in St. Petersburg Conservatory. Did you hear this name, right? Well, you have to know, because did you hear name of Yasha Heifetz? Yes, of Misha Ellman, of Milstein, all of them studied with Leopold Auer. So when Tchaikovsky composed this concerto, he dedicated to Leopold Auer, but Leopold Auer did not play the concerto. And Tchaikovsky was very upset because he thought that Auer doesn't want to play the concerto. But it's not that he didn't want, he was not actually very young, and it was not so easy to play. And then Auer rededicated the concerto to, at that time he was considered to be a Polish violinist named Brodsky. The problem was that in imagination of some people in Poland, Russian music was a gypsy music. And the way he interpreted that was very much what he could in gypsy character. Then it stayed for a very long time. Also, there are many editions, and in every edition there are mistakes. Even if you have edition which is printed in the former Soviet Union, which is called Oistrach Mostras, it is very little of David Oistrach over there, because he was young when it was printed. They used his name, and Mostras was most methodologist. Okay, so I will show you what was happening everywhere, where mistakes traveled from one edition to another. But I also noticed that you played it with a mute. I would not advise you to play this with a mute, because already every performing violinist on stage knows that with the mute it does not project at all. So Tchaikovsky did not play the violin, and every composer sometimes can make a mistake if he does not consult the violinist. So the first thing what I advise you, take off the mute of the second movement. Okay? Let's try from the beginning. Thank you very much. It's beautiful that you start with the second finger, but it's not very necessary, because from the very beginning you have to show the simplicity of that. And sometimes the open string sounds also beautiful. Number one. Number two, you play after that, you play every note. You have to aim, because every phrase has to aim somewhere. May you play a little bit with you? You have to aim. And then you probably notice that he repeats the same phrase 4 times. When it is repeated 4 times, usually in such situation, the fingerings of the second time are different from the fingerings of the first time to show different timbres, right? The third time will be like the first time, and the fourth time will be, because it is development in dynamic, different blinks, okay? Could you start a little bit without piano, and I will show you what to do. You see, you do this, don't emphasize every note. You have to aim to next note. Aim to D. Sorry that I go so detailed. The trill in Tchaikovsky is different from the trill in Wieniawski or in Paganini. So what I suggest already, I don't know you very well, but better not to start too quick and not. Yes, could you try? Okay. Continue, continue, continue. Yes, very good. Second time, better not to play harmonic, because you already played harmonic first time. So when you come here, 4, okay? Continue, please. Crescendo. Yes, here I will not change everything, but I would not advise you to go to the first position, because from first position you have to go to third position. Okay? Thank you. Now I will show you something what I think is quite interesting. When I was a little bit older than you are, I played this concerto for great violinist. I hope you know his name. Did you hear the name Isaac Stern? Good. So you know Isaac Stern, but Leopold Auer now you don't know. And I played exactly the way you did now. I played this look. Then you play this. Right? The third finger, right? He said, I would not advise you to play like that. I said, why? He said, because if you play 3, you have to go back to, again to 3. And I said, how do you play? He said, I play 4. Yes. Well, I said, it's very good, but you know that my 4th finger is not very strong. This way I play with the 3rd. He said, you know what? My 4th finger is also not very strong, but I will teach you how to play this and make it stronger. He said, I make out of 2 fingers 1. So actually, I go on the 3rd finger, and finally I reach with the 4th. So what is happening? I will come very close to you. In this case, we don't need to go back, okay? But I think this is also not the best finger. And I will show you now the fingerings, which you will not find in these editions, which are printed one after another. After this. You understand? In this case, you are avoiding this glissandi or frammenti, which are good for gypsy music, and this is not gypsy music. Yes? So let's start from here. Put 1 here. Okay? Yes, thank you. What I suggest is just a suggestion. There are several of my students here, and they know that I suggest different fingerings for different students. This is just a suggestion. But another suggestion, you remember when I spoke about 4 phrases from the beginning, step by step you have to create crescendo. In order to create this crescendo, 4th time, you have to change the bowings. Look, the fourth time, you understand why, right? In this case, it will sound much louder. Because if you hook all the time, you play the same bowings all the time, it's very difficult to make crescendo. Okay? Okay. Could you start last time? Last time, please. Fourth time. Thank you. Now I will show you something else. One thing is to play everything with good rhythm, but another thing is to play everything metrically. And this is a little bit what you do. You play approximately like that, and I will now exaggerate. You play. Then you play. I exaggerate, of course, but this is also happening for several reasons. But one of the reasons, bow distribution. Look, watch. Could you try? Small bow, just not only small bow, but dynamic is changing. Look, from here, this is still loud. I suggest you very much listen to his operas and listen to his romances. Yes? If you play da 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 da, you play very well, but the audience may fall asleep. They don't want to hear all the time the same thing. Okay? So after this piano, would you write from here to play? Small bow piano, correct? Yes, not necessary, not necessary. Because two glissandos in the row are not a good idea, okay? Okay? One more thing. You are very smart, and you are very good, and you will do wonderful. Another thing, what creates this kind of, metronomic playing, you play, this is incorrect phrasing, because the last note in this scale is F sharp. Listen, from here, not D. You know how he felt? He felt pain in his heart. And this is not good, okay? You understand? Yeah? So play from here. Yes, and it's not necessary, first of all, to go to the first position. During this short time, I cannot teach you the fingering, unfortunately, but better half step shift than the entire position shift. Okay? think you will understand now, you're very smart. I emphasize this F sharp, not by accentuating F sharp, but by retracting F sharp. Not, you understand, right? Sometimes when you do that, it's more effective than when you do this. Okay? Okay, let's do with piano a little bit after that. Okay, I would not suggest, you do this, how many shifts you can do. Otherwise, it sounds very much gypsy. Not good idea. Right? Thank you. I will show you only a couple more things and we'll go to the third moment, okay? Because I'm watching. Again, what you have to avoid here is this kind of playing. Yes? You play again, I will exaggerate now. Let's do with you. Let's do with piano. I will exaggerate. You don't do it as bad, but we will see. This is very boring. Would you like to hear something different? Watch. You have to learn how to distribute the bow too. Not all the time, like this is not a good idea. Okay? I will just show you two more quickly things and we will go to the third moment, otherwise we will never do this. Could you do recapitulation after development? Not bad, not bad, but a little bit more improvisatory. Now, could you show me only the very ending, how you do it? From here, the very end. Okay, I will tell you what I suggest here. It's very, very interesting. This second movement is going directly into the third movement. And you remember what I told you from the beginning, that he is kind of struggling with his own personality. He is very sad, but he wants to be strong, yes? This is why eventually he is moving to the third moment without stop. There is no interruption, right? Orchestra continues to play. And I suggest that this should be played like the end, of his certain feelings and transition to another feelings. At this particular time, many people try to make crescendo for nothing, because orchestra doesn't play at this moment. Orchestra is quiet. So I suggest, look. You understand, right? Yes? So it is dolce pianissimo, not crescendo. Crescendo will be later. Okay, we have to go to the third movement. Little bit. I'm sorry that it takes me a long time.
We have a little time at the end for questions and things.
Oh, a little time for questions. Okay. I will show you some things here very quickly. And please, okay. Start the third movement. it's not written. It's not written this way. It's two even notes. Okay? Distribute the bow not this way. Not. It's not 16 note over there. Better. And by the way, this note twice too, okay? Continue. Okay, this cadenza is something separate and honestly not much time, so we'll skip the cadenza before you start the refrain. Now, you did many good things in refrain. Could you play one more time and I will show you how to practice that, okay? Right. Yes, this is called refrain, okay? Remember this word, refrain, okay? Okay, there is a tradition of articulation. Look, I will show you slow now, you will understand. It will be everywhere. Ta-ti-ta-tam, ta-ti-ta-tam, ta-ti-ta-tam. Okay? Could you do slower? Could you try this? Okay? And the best bowings are these bowings. You start up. Now fingers. Up. Piano. Okay? Continue. Okay, here I will suggest something to you too. Very, very fine professor here in the United States, Joseph Gingle, he suggested not to play legato. Many people play legato. I will tell you when you will decide to play legato and when not legato. There are two ways to practice that. One way to practice, you play the entire refrain with only one dynamic. But dynamic should be such that from here it should be very big crescendo, okay? So in order to do that, when in fast tempo, if you do, usually it doesn't sound. This is why, but if you can make it very good articulation, I have no problem. So try like this and try like that. But what I suggest, you play this in fast tempo, which is good. But in order to play in fast tempo, you have to work it out very well. So at home, try to do first two different ways. To start off the string, to finish on the string, right? And second way, to start on the string. Okay, two different ways, okay? Could you try? Bravo. Continue. Exactly. And not with the arm, but with the fingers. Yes, and here never will sound in fast tempo. So watch what I'm doing. These notes are on the string. Okay, could you try? Yes, and fingering's not good. Look at the fingerings. One. Right? Not so many times to change. Would you try? Just one. You understand, right? Otherwise you have to jump to the third position all of a sudden. Try one more time. One. Watch what was happening here. And there is one more mistake in the music. I didn't see your music, but I know every audition. It travels from one audition to another audition. Why I permit myself to say that? Because I saw the manuscript he's writing. Okay? So what is happening, if I'm not mistaken, the end, when you come here probably is written diminuendo piano, right? In your music. Piano, right? Diminuendo. What? Yeah, I know. So what's supposed to be crescendo? So it is crescendo before the refrain. Okay? Would you try? And the fingerings, of course, I'm confusing you. We have very little time. One, everywhere one. Okay? Okay. Let's say that we have jumped now from refrain. Everybody understands that in such a short time, I cannot do serious job. Okay? How do you play? Let's say you finished refrain, right? After refrain. Play your fifth. Pom, 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 ta, ta, tim. Yeah, two things, okay, or three things. First of all, wonderful pianist, if I may to ask you a favor, start fourth and make the melody, right? And what I will ask you to do, this is different character. It's not the same thing like in refrain. Down, up. Okay? Second time when you will do twice up because you start with the harmonic, okay? But this, down, up, and not short, not chicken everything, okay? Diminuendo piano. Forte! And here. Down, yes. Okay. I will jump a little bit. One more thing. Show me how you play double stops. This is a very common problem. Could you show me open strings? Yes, don't press too much. Yes, and much bigger. Yes. Yes, and articulation is ta da da, ta da da da, ta da da da, ta da da da. Okay, ta da da, right? Ta da. Correct. Otherwise, you will be mixed up. Ta da da, ta da da da, ta da da da, ta da da da, ta da da da. Try open strings. Good. Now start softer, make crescendo the same thing. Okay, now try the same thing with normal notes, the same thing. You a little bit practice like that, right? Okay. Now, how do you play this part? This is also not correct, okay? May I show you how to play that? Again, everything what I suggest, it's my opinion. You have different teachers, do whatever your teachers are telling you to do. I'm not responsible for that, okay? Okay? And it's not written all even notes. It's typical Russian rhythm. Tip of the finger up ball. Here, at the tip. Yes. Correct. Okay. So you remember what is happening in coda, right? You remember that it was one extra note written over there. Okay. What else? You want? He played yesterday this concerto, the entire concerto with the orchestra. I suggest after this, yes, not octave, but it doesn't matter. Okay. What I can say, because very little time left. What I can say, you are wonderful. You did a great job. Thank you so much for your patience. Just think what we were talking about, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I was told that I have to leave half an hour for questioning, but I left only 10 minutes
No,
for questioning.
that's okay. 10 minutes is probably fine. I'd like, just get
Okay, but go ahead. If you want to ask.
I
so
just
far-
wonder, could you, I have a lot of students here who like to enter, they do competitions regionally and some internationally and have some interest. And your experience as a judge and adjudicator, maybe just some comments, of what to expect going in, for auditions. Or is there such a thing as a common wisdom
Okay,
on that?
thank you. In this case, I will not sit with my back to you if I have to answer questions. You will be very surprised to hear what I will tell you now. I do not know why it happened, but I was invited to judge many big international competitions. I will name to you a few. Queen Elizabeth, Sibelius, Paganini, Sarasate, I was artistic advisor. I was judging every big international competition. I can be listed like that. To start with, I do not believe in the competitions anymore. I do not agree to be a member of the jury. Unfortunately, because in all of the competitions practically, it is not only matter of opinion, but a lot of politics. So I can give you a couple examples from the competitions, if I may, from my experience. But what I suggest, of course, it's not a bad idea for you to participate in the competition because it gives you stimulus to practice, right? In this respect, it's very good. But you never have to take to your heart if all of a sudden you are not successful. If you played very well and the judges did not give you prize, it is their problem but not your problem. So you should not be damaged because of that. But what is happening, unfortunately, not all judges, but some judges are playing politics. But when they do not play politics, in music there are so many different opinions. And I will tell you a couple of stories from real life, which sometimes maybe I will put in my book of memories. I was very lucky and privileged to be close and friendly to several great violinists. And two of them were my colleagues in Queen Elizabeth competition, which used to be probably still the biggest international competition in the world. This is Yehudi Menuhin, Sir Yehudi Menuhin, and commander of British Empire, Ida Handel. Not only they were good colleagues and friends of mine, but they were very good friends of each other. Even more, both of them are great musicians and violinists. And both of them are very honest people who did not play politics. But look what happened. When it came to decide the first prize, here was the scene. Here is standing Yehudi Menuhin, and here is standing Ida Handel. And Ida Handel talks to Yehudi through me, and he talks to her through me. And she said, tell him that he wants to choose the worst violinist for the first prize. And he said, tell her that he is the best. Tell her that he is the best. You understand? These two great musicians who do not play politics, they have absolutely different opinion. Why? Because competitions are very good in sport. You know, we see who is running faster, who can lift more weight and who can smash the face of the opponent, right? But in music, one has one opinion and other has another opinion. This is why I told you, what I tell you, you may take it, you may not take it. But also, what is not an excuse sometimes is lack of knowledge. If somebody doesn't know and says, oh no, this is wrong, sometimes people don't know. But this is happening. And you want to have another example, then I will not be able to answer your question. Please go ahead, because I have many examples about what
Sure.
was going on.
I just thought that was good to bring some of that perspective in because of your experience. We have some questions from the students. Everybody's shy all the time. Any questions or any? Here I see one. Patricia, Patty.
How do you remember so many
Could you tell me what was...
She said, how are you remembering so many editions of music by the same composer, but so many
How do
different
I
editions?
remember? I'm just interested. You see, unfortunately, I'm a little bit older than you, so I had so much more time to look at different editions. How do I remember? I have to ask God how He gave me this kind of brain. So I don't know how to answer this question. Okay, so many editions. Okay, there are actually not so many editions for everything. There are very few.
Sophia, and can you speak up so Dr. Schmieder can hear you?
Where do you find the earlier editions? Like, how do you find an edition that you know is, like, has the original, like, notes and patterns?
How do you find an original edition that hasn't been, so edited out or whatever?
There is no such thing as original edition. Sometimes they claim to be original. Only yesterday I told, I think on Wednesday I have upper string pedagogy class, and I told my students the situation with addition of Bach D minor partita and specifically Chacon. And this is very interesting example too. Probably you heard recordings of Bach of Heinrich Schering. It was another great violinist of the 20th century. And for a very long time, his performance of Bach was considered to be exemplary. I still think that it's exemplary. I was very lucky to work with him in Holland in Summer Music Festival, and he was giving class for Bach Chacon. Of course, it was very interesting to hear how this great expert is giving class for Bach Chacon. So the student played, and the student is playing da 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 ti ya da da, and Schering said, "Stop! Don't play like that." So he did not explain why. Student said, "But why not? I'm playing for your edition, and in your edition there is an arrow which is aiming to this note D, and this is why I emphasize this note D." And Schering said, "But I never put this arrow. This is not my arrow." Okay. In the evening, I had dinner with him. And after a while, I decided to ask him, because I'm very interested. I said, "Listen, please tell me, the student had correct argument. I also have your edition. And in your edition, there are arrows which are aiming to certain voices, and it's your arrows." He said, "This is not my arrows, I never put them." I said, "How come when it says it is edition of Heinrich Schering?" He said, "I will tell you what happened. When I prepared this for publication, it was musicologist in Köln, in Cologne, in Germany, who insisted that it could be published only if he will put arrows over there which voices to show." And he said, "I have to agree, but it has nothing to do with me." Okay, and I say, why it is wrong? And he told me the story, why Joachim played like that, and Brahms told him, "Don't play like that, because you are supposed to not to lecture the audience, because you are not the lecturer, you are the musician. So here is the example that you look at the audition and you think that everything is original, but even the person who is listed says that he didn't do that. So I'm very skeptical of so-called original editions. Plus there is another reason for that. The handwriting of Mozart is very difficult to read up until now. We do not know that handwriting of Bach, what is his and what is Anna Magdalena who was writing for him. So sometimes we do not know. So we have to be very careful. And, to be absolutely fixed, let's do what is original, there is no such thing. Because if we would have only one correct way to play, we would need only one violinist. We would need only one pianist. There is no one correct way to play. But there is way to play with certain point of view, with certain feelings. Why do we do that altogether? We do that to share with people. I believe that in music there is creation and recreation. Creation is what composers are doing. When they do that, there are two different types of composers. There are composers who compose because they learn the rules of the compositions. And the composers who know the rules of the compositions, but they feel so strong that they have to somehow say something emotional in their music. So our responsibility, and we are recreators, because then we take it and then we try to understand what this composer had to say, try to say with his emotions. So I don't know if I answered your question.
Okay, that's helpful. Are there ways that you suggest to find, for instance, the inaccuracies you mentioned about the Tchaikovsky? Are there ways that a student can find this other than, speaking to someone? Are there
Well,
This is curious for me because I play an instrument that most of the good literature was written in the last 50 years.
This is a very difficult question. Again, if you go to St. Petersburg and they have in the library his handwriting, and you will study that, it doesn't mean that you will interpret exactly what it is. Because sometimes we are fixed, and I don't want to go too far, because if I will go too far, I will offend somebody, and I don't want to do it. Today, all of a sudden, several years ago, they discovered what is the correct way to play Baroque music. Very interesting. I don't know when did they receive the email from the Baroque composers. How they connected, very interesting. It's a matter of interpretation. Okay, so no, try to do the best you can. This is what I can say. And if somebody knows and wants to share with you, okay.
Anybody else? Any other questions? Okay, well, we'll work in a few minutes to get you all to your next rehearsals because these guys are rehearsals. I want to thank you for being with us today. And I'd like to point out to you, we have Lydia Bayou from the admissions office at our Boyer College of Music and Dance, and she has information. And, if you're interested in our school, that's great. If you're interested in other schools, she's a very, very good navigator of the whole college approach, the whole process. And I asked her to be here today to just be available to you. And if your parents are here, that would be great, too. Thank you all very much. Special thanks to Audrey for being one of the to as always, for the accompaniment. Next week we have a student recital, and we'll see you all there. And please make sure that you're on time and ready to go for your next rehearsal. You have a few minutes now. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Please stop.